Hey, what up, Dodgers Nation? Doug McCain here. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at DMac_LA. The Dodgers signed Ken Giles to a minor league deal. We're going to tell you what that means. Can he have an impact for this team? That's coming up in just a second. But first things first, quick reminder for all things Dodger baseball all season long. Be sure to hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. And if you really want to support the channel and you want to see us post even more Dodgers content, smash that like button. And as always, I want your takes down below in the comment section. Today's Dodgers Nation question of the day is the Dodgers signing of Ken Giles something, nothing, or everything? Can the Dodgers fix him, so to speak? Let me know down below. And for our latest Dodgers news, head over to DodgersNation.com. So it hasn't happened in a while, but fire up that signing siren because the Dodgers have made a signing free agent reliever Ken Giles. The news was first reported by MLB insider Jon Heyman, who tweeted out, Ken Giles agrees to Dodgers deal, minors deal. So this is a Dodger team that's been dealing with injuries once again. It's a Dodgers team that's had its bullpen that had to cover 60% of the innings last week. The starters went just 25 2/3 innings. You saw guys have been overworked, guys have been overtaxed, and this is something that I think provides some depth if they can fix him. And that is the big question. Can Dr. Mark Pryor, can Connor McGinnis find a way to get his career back on track and optimize what he has left in his career? Because look, they're not batting 1,000. They can't fix everyone. They don't work miracles. What they can do is get guys that still have some potential, get guys that still have raw stuff and ability. They can get them back on the mound and have them getting outs and putting them in positions where they can succeed. But with Ken Giles, it's very interesting because this is classic Dodgers because one, not only is he a reclamation project, he is a guy that is a name. He's a big brand. Look at, they brought in Dylan Betances last year. You saw they went after Cole Hamels. They like the brand names, and they want to see if they can get them back on track. And he's 32 years old. It is a minor league contract, like I previously mentioned. And this is a guy who at one point in his career was one of the elite relievers in all of Major League Baseball. From 2014 to 2019, he recorded 114 saves in 353 games. He had a 2.67 ERA. He had a 33.3 strikeout rate. That was one of the best in the league. He had a sub-2 ERA 3 times. He had a 2.67 ERA, a 2.37 FIP over his first 6 seasons. He ranked third among all big league pitchers with at least 300 innings. So this is a guy who had established himself as one of the best relievers in the game, with his peak really being that 2017 season with the Astros where he posted a 2.30 ERA. But then he did have a bad postseason that year. He was demoted. He was moved off that closer's role after he allowed 10 runs in 7 2/3 innings. You might remember he gave that home run to Gary Sanchez, and he would go on to punch himself as he was going off the mound. So that's one thing that you need to know about Ken Giles, is he has that fire, he has that passion, and no matter how hard a team is going to hit him, it's not going to be any harder than he's going to hit himself. So he holds himself accountable. He definitely is a guy that's going to go out there and compete when he gets his opportunity. The only issue is he's dealt with injuries throughout the past few seasons. He underwent Tommy John surgery in 2020, and then after that, he signed a 2-year, $7 million contract with the Seattle Mariners before the 2021 season, and he's only pitched in 8 innings since the start of the 2020 season. So let me repeat that. He's only pitched in 8 innings since the start of the 2020 season. We're now in the 2023 season, so he hasn't seen very much action. Also, he's a very different pitcher these days. The velocity has dropped precipitously off that four-seam fastball. You saw in 2015 averaging 97.2 miles per hour. You saw in 2017 averaging 98.2 miles per hour. And then last year, that was down to 94.8 miles per hour, and opponents hit 333 off of it. So, yeah, it definitely has lost some velocity, and his mix is very simple. There was a time when he was throwing a sinker and a changeup, but at this point of his career, he's going with four-seam fastball and the slider. Now, last year with Seattle, there was some hope that he was going to be able to get his career back on track, but unfortunately, the injury bug struck again. Giles missed almost 3 months with a middle finger sprain, and no word if he was just pointing his middle finger at Gary Sanchez and it just got sore, but still he missed significant time. Then he missed even more time after that due to right shoulder soreness that he suffered in July before the Mariners ultimately released him in August. After that, he pitched 4 games in the Giants Giants minor league system before getting released by San Francisco shortly thereafter. So in the offseason, no one picked him up. He was trying to get signed, and then he spent 5 weeks at Driveline Baseball. They worked on his mechanics. They tried to refine some things and get him back on track. He then had a showcase for the Cubs. He worked out for the Cubs, and then there were suitors, and the Dodgers were one of those teams. And I'll tell you from what I know, the Dodgers will not sign someone for no reason. They will not take a flyer on a guy just because he's a big name, because he was good. They're only going to pursue someone if they can get him right. If they've identified something where they say, if we get him with our pitching and coaching and development staff, and we find a way to get this guy to where he can contribute for this team. And if you look at this Dodgers team right now, they continue to suffer injuries. Last year, they suffered a myriad of injuries, and it feels like there's only a matter of time before Ken Giles will get his shot. I mean, we thought that we would never see Shane Green pitch for the Dodgers last year, and he got an opportunity, and he pitched in a game. The Dodgers used 31 pitchers last year. 31 pitchers. So, yeah, this is not a surprising move by the Dodgers. I think that Ken Giles, can he get back to the guy he was before the injuries? I think the answer is no, but can they make him serviceable? I think there is a possibility. I like the fact that he went to Driveline. I like the fact that his velocity is still slightly above league average. And hopefully, when you consider the fact that he's even further removed from that Tommy John surgery, from these injuries, that if you could keep him healthy, hopefully that velo will continue to climb. And another thing to factor in too is, what is his other pitch? That slider. What is this organization known for? That slider. That is what they're going to try to correct. How do you increase the effectiveness of that slider? We've seen them do that time and time again with these relievers. Saw what they did with Yency Almonte last season. Yes, he's been struggling this year, but he definitely was a successful reclamation project in 22. You've seen what they've been able to do with Evan Phillips. So I think the key for him is just getting healthy and getting back on the mound and seeing what he can bring. Now, I think it is important to note that, like I said, I think it's, you see everyone out there, Dr. Pryor this, Dodgers this, Dr. Pryor this. Yes, they are great at what they do. I think they are the best in the business. There's no doubt about that. But these guys can't, there's no doubt about that. But these guys can't work miracles on everyone. Look, sometimes a car is just totaled. I mean, look at last season with Dellin Betances, another guy that was one of the best relievers of his generation, of his era there. He had some really nice stretches when he was at his peak. And last season, the Dodgers, they took a shot on him after that shoulder surgery, and they couldn't get him right. Last year, Dellin Betances, he pitched 15 games with an 11.08 ERA for OKC before he announced his retirement. So, look, there's nothing wrong with that. It's just something that happens. Sometimes your arm just can't get back to where it was, and that is what it is. And look, in this case, there really is no risk at all. It's a minor league deal, so if it doesn't work, it's no harm, no foul. But I do like the fact that he's a guy that has pitched in some big spots. If he can get right, there is a chance he could help this team. So if you're asking me if it's something, nothing, or everything, I wouldn't say it's nothing, because last year we've seen them pick up pitchers that we didn't expect to see on the mound, and because of injury, they did get their opportunity. So I definitely think it's something, because I do think that if they can get him right, that if certain things break a certain way, I think you can see him possibly getting his opportunity. Now, is there a chance that he becomes the elite reliever that he once was? I don't expect that, just like I didn't expect that with Noah Syndergaard when a lot of people did. So, yeah, I think with Ken Giles, it's an interesting, intriguing signing. And also, too, you have to mention that there was a lot of teams out there that would have given him a minor league contract, but he chose the Dodgers. And I think when you look at that reputation that the Dodgers have right now, guys like Noah Syndergaard, it isn't quite working out. So if they can get another feather in their cap and continue to preserve this reputation, that's going to allow them to sign guys like Ken Giles down the line. But if you look at the current state of this Dodgers bullpen, there is no doubt that they are overworked. And you saw that on display throughout the Cardinals series. I mean, just look at yesterday. You had guys that have put together pretty nice starts to their seasons, guys like Justin Brule, and what happens? It was his 5th time pitching in 8 days. He gives up 2 runs on 3 hits, but bullpen pieces aren't going to remain perfect unless you can give them time to get fresh and kind of reset and try to preserve them. I mean, these tires are looking bald at the moment. I mean, look at Victor Gonzalez. He leaves that fastball middle down in the zone, gives up his first home run of the season there to Gorman. And look, with some of these guys out, Dustin May's out for the foreseeable future. They're saying 4 to 6 weeks, but I don't buy that. I think it'll be longer. Julio Urias, he's on the 15-day IL with a left hamstring strain. Clayton Kershaw, he's on the bereavement list. He's expected to make his next start, but he hasn't pitched well in his last 2 starts, and I think it's understandable when you consider what he's going through, and I expect Kershaw to get back on track, and he's going to put in the work. For him, it's just becoming more efficient. He's throwing too many pitches, too many deep counts, having issues putting away hitters. He needed 95 pitches just to get 11 outs yesterday, so that's a situation where he's going to have to improve. It was just the second time in his career that he went consecutive starts without getting past the 4th inning, so it was very uncharacteristic from Clayton Kershaw. So any bullpen help this team can get at this point is definitely going to go a long way, and it's the beginning of the process for Ken Giles. It's not going to happen overnight, but it is nice to see that they are starting the process of bringing in some reinforcements. Wander Suero, he struggled yesterday. He gave the home run to DeYoung. I think Tyler Sear, he definitely looked pretty solid. I liked his confidence, liked the way that changeup played. I like his fastball location there, but he's still an unknown at this point too, and we'll see the move they have to make when it comes to Bobby Miller. I think it should be bye-bye Suero for Bobby Miller, who they need to put on the 40-man roster and then get on the 26-man active roster, and then we'll see how the 2 young guns fare. That, to me, is the biggest story this week. What will they get from Gavin Stone and Bobby Miller? Because if they both show out, that's going to go a long way to telling me what this team is going to do at the deadline. Will they be able to get starting pitcher level performances at the big league level from their 2 young top pitching prospects? Because if they are, and they show that potential, and they can look like number 3 starters or even better, that definitely is going to help this rotation in a big way, because they need the depth and they need the innings at this point. I mean, I've even talked about Noah Syndergaard today. I'm almost tired of talking about that right now, but he's a guy that he's not terrible, but he's not great. Hopefully he can eat innings, and he went 5 innings, gave up 3 runs, but he hasn't looked the part so far this season. So yeah, it definitely is going to be rough sledding. They just have to tread water. They have to weather this storm until they get guys back or make some moves and see what they have in Bobby Miller and Gavin Stone. But yeah, the state of this bullpen, the state of the starting rotation, it is a little rocky of late. And one more thing, hopefully the Dodgers offense, they can pick it up. Hopefully the Dodger bats can supplement some of these runs, and if they're struggling with run prevention, hopefully they pick it up with run production. Look, I want to see some big games from this Dodgers offense. I don't care if they win by just 1 run. You need to get these dubs. It's like Dominic Toretto said in Fast and the Furious, hey, it doesn't matter if it's by an inch or a mile, a win's a win. So hopefully this Dodgers offense can pick it up. And we have some more news to report that just came out a few seconds ago, and that is that Gus Varland, who was selected from the Dodgers in the Rule 5 draft back in December, was returned to the organization by the Brewers on Monday after he cleared waivers. Now, Varland, he definitely has struggled this season with the Brewers. He's posted an 11.42 ERA in 8 appearances. He has 6 punch-outs to 8 walks. He's allowed 3 dingers in 8 2/3 innings. Now, that ERA was at 5.92 after the first 7 games, but he allowed 9 runs and recorded just 2 outs on May 15th against St. Louis. So that was it, and then after that, the Brewers, they DFA'd him. So he's back within this Dodgers organization. He's another option they could turn to if it gets to that point, but hopefully they can help correct some things. Now, I don't see tons of upside with Varland, but it's definitely nice to know that you definitely have some more depth. And you might remember he was acquired from the A's along with Sheldon Noisy back in February of 2021. He was included in that trade for Adam Kolarek and Cody Thomas. So 2 years in Double-A, he had a 5.98 ERA with 107 strikeouts to 55 walks in 105 in a third inning. So I don't expect very much from Gus Varland, but I will point out that he did improve when he went from a starter to a reliever. So if he can find a role and fix some things, maybe he'll get an opportunity as well. But let me know down below in the comment section, what are your thoughts on the Dodgers signing Ken Giles to a minor league deal? Is it something, nothing, or everything? And we'll throw this one in there. On a scale of 1 to 10, what is your concern with the Dodgers pitching at the moment? Let me know down below. My name is Doug McKay. My friends call me D-Mac. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at DMac_LA for all things Dodger baseball all season long. Be sure to hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, and if you want to see us post even more Dodgers content, smash that like button. And until next time, think blue, bleed blue, and I'm out.